Hello everyone, welcome back. In this session, I am going to discuss one more annotation of Spring Framework, and the name of the annotation is nothing but @Autowired. This is the very popular and famous annotation in Spring and Spring Boot framework. So today we are going to learn each and everything about this annotation. So let me write down the topic which I am going to discuss under this session. So the first topic which I will discuss here, that is the introduction of the AutoAdd, or that is what is AutoAdd annotation. So I want to know what is this annotation and what is the purpose of this annotation, why Spring has introduced this annotation. So I will discuss all those points here. After that, the second topic which I am going to discuss here, that is where and how I can use this annotation. I mean to say, can I use this annotation on the class level, or can I use this annotation on top of the method, or where I can use this annotation, what all the places I can use this annotation, and what is the criteria for that, what is the condition for that. So that is my second topic which I will discuss with you. And after that, I will try to explain, or I will try to show you couple of example based on this auto-add annotation. So here I will discuss first some basic example with you, and then I will try to show you some real-time scenario how we can use this auto add in our real-time template. That also I will try to show you. And after that, the last but not least, we'll see what kind of the challenge and problem we can face if I am going to use this auto add annotation. So if you are using this annotation, there is chance sometime you can get some runtime error. And the error you can get like no such bin definition error exception, or even there is chance you can get some other exception as well. So I want to know in what condition I can get those kind of the exception, and if I'm getting that exception, how we can resolve that. So let's start with the first topic, and the first topic is what is @Autowired. So as I said earlier, this is the one of the core annotation in the Spring framework. And this annotation, the auto add annotation, is responsible to inject the dependency of one bin inside the another bin automatically. So what I mean to say, let me show you with some examples, then it will be more clear. So you can see here, there are two component, or we have here two classes. So here you can see this is the class A, or I can say this is the component A, and this is the class B, or I can say this is the component B. And this component B or this class B, you can see this is dependent on one of the field or one of the data member, and the name of this field is nothing but A1, or the name of the data member is A1. Now I want to inject this A1 inside the B. And if you don't know the auto-add annotation, so as of now, what all the options we have available right now. So if I want to inject this without auto-add, then I can say that I can easily inject this data member or this field using the setter injection or using the constructor injection. Those who don't know how to inject this field or this data member based on the setter injection or based on the constructor injection, there's some video available inside this playlist. I will provide with the link in the description. Please go through that. So here I'm saying, hey, I do not want to inject this dependency based on the constructor injection or based on the setter injection. Because if you are going for the setter or constructor injection, somehow you have to provide the bin definition, and you have to worry about the configuration file. I'm saying that now I'm going to teach you one new annotation here, and the name of the annotation is nothing but auto add. And if you try to inject this field based on the auto add, then Spring will be responsible to inject this dependency automatically, and you no need to worry about any kind of the bin definition, and you no need to worry about any extra configuration file. Just you have to use the auto add annotation, and Spring will take care each and everything. So if I want to inject this now or from today onwards, what I will do here on top of this field, I will use the annotation as a auto wire. And once you write this auto wire and once you run the example, Spring now responsible to inject this A1. And if you are trying to inject this field based on the auto add, then this is known as the field injection as well. This field injection was very popular and famous few years ago. But nowadays, according to the Spring document, Spring don't advise or don't suggest us to use this auto add on top of any of the field. So still, if you use this auto add on top of the field member or on top of any of the field, you will not get any compile time error or will not get any runtime error, and this will be run fine. But there are a number of reason behind that, and because of that reason, the Spring is not suggesting to use this auto add on top of any of the field. What is the reason? We'll discuss later, but somehow, according to the Spring document, will not use this auto add on top of the field. So here, at least we'll get to know that this auto add annotation we can use on top of the field. And this is the one place. So the second topic which I had here, where and how I can use this auto add. So we can get to know this auto add I can use on top of the field. What other places we can use? So as I said, the Spring does not suggest us to use this auto add on top of the field. So what I will do, I will create the constructor corresponding to this field or corresponding to this data member. So I'm going to create one constructor for this public B, and we'll create the constructor with this data member E1, and then what I will do, I will write this dot A1 is equal to A1. So now on top of this constructor, we will use the auto add annotation. So now what I will do, instead of injecting or using this auto add on top of the field, I will use this auto add on top of the constructor. And this is suggested by the Spring. So now either you can use this auto add on top of the constructor for this specific field, or if not, then you can even use this auto add on top of the setter method corresponding to this field. So similar to this constructor, you can create the setter method for this. And even on top of that, also you can able to use this auto add. So this auto add annotation, I get to know we can use on the three places. One I can use on the field. Okay. And if I'm using on the field, that is known as the field injection. Otherwise, I can create the constructor corresponding to that field, and I will mark that constructor, or on top of that constructor I will use the auto add, or if not, then even I can use this auto add on the top of the setter method as well. So these are the three places where I can use this auto add annotation. One more point which I want to discuss here, this auto add is not the part of stereotype annotation, and since this auto add is not the part of stereotype annotation, you cannot use this annotation on top of the class level. So here component, controller, service, repository, this all the annotation are the part of stereotype, and this all the annotation we can use on the top of the class. But this auto add is not the part of stereotype, and we cannot use on top of the class. So I hope up to here this is very clear how we can inject the dependency of one bin inside another bins based on the auto add. So going forward, we'll use this auto add annotation and will not go with a setter and constructor injection. So now I want to know what will happen once I will run my application, what Spring will do once they will find this auto add annotation. So for that, let me draw the container, let me draw the diagram, and then I will discuss with you. So I'm going to draw one container, and so you can see this is the advanced container, and the name of the advanced container is application context. Now, once you will run your application, once you will run your project, so corresponding to these two component classes, class A and class B, two bin will get created inside the container. So let me do that as well. So you can mark this bin with name A. Okay. So this is for the component A, and this is for the component B. So what I mean to say, corresponding to this component A, this is the bin, and corresponding to this component B, it will point to this bin. Now once Spring will find this Autowired annotation inside this component class, then the Spring will say, hey, I can see you want to inject one field, and for that you are using @Autowired annotation. So let me check first what is the data type for this annotation, because the Autowired mostly work based on the data type, not based on the setter and constructor injection. So here they will say, hey, tell me what is your data type. So here, if you'll see the data type for this field is nothing but A, and this A is the class, or this A is the component in our project. Now Spring will say, hey, I can see this, your data type is the type of component A. So let me check inside the container, is there any bin running for the component A or not? So now Spring will come inside this container and they will try to find out any bin running in the container for the component A. If there is any bin running in the container for the component A, then what Spring will do? Spring will try to inject this A1 with this A. So now Spring will Spring will say, hey, I can able to see there's one bin running in the container for the component A, and with that A, they will try to initialize this A1, or they will try to inject this A1. Or the simple meaning of this line is nothing but I am asking from Spring, hey Spring, can you please provide me the bin for the component A? And how we can request that? So to get the bin from the container, we know that we have to call the getBin method. So here somehow I'm going to call the getBin method. So I'm requesting to Spring, hey Spring, could you please provide me the bin for the component class A? Now once Spring will find the bin for the component A, with that bin, the Spring will try to initialize this A1, or the Spring will try to return the object and initialize this line. So this is very simple meaning for this Autowired annotation. And the same concept will be applicable here as well. Okay. Now there are a couple of questions can come in your mind. The first question can come in your mind. Suppose if there is no bin running the container for this component A, then what will happen? The second question can come in your mind. Suppose there are more than one bin running in the container for this component A. In that case, what will happen? So suppose what I mean to say, suppose I'm going to get one more bin for the component A itself, and suppose the name for that is nothing but A2. So now once I'll mark this A1 with @Autowired annotation, now Spring will come inside the container and they will try to find out at least one bin should be running inside the container. If yes, then they will try to inject. But now here there are two bin for the component A. Now Spring will say, hey, I can see there are two bin running in the container for the component A, and the name is A and A2. Now I'm not sure with which bins I have to initialize or I have to inject this A1. And in that case, again, you can get some error. So what error will get, that I'm going to discuss with you based on the example in the next class. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next session.